Did you know? There was a time when Israel faced a seemingly unstoppable enemy. The Midianites were too many, too strong, and too powerful. Fear gripped the land. Imagine living in constant terror, hiding in caves with no hope in sight. The enemy's power was overwhelming, crushing the spirit of Israel. They needed a miracle. In the midst of this despair, God chose a humble man named Gideon. Gideon felt insignificant, weak, but God saw something different. God called him a mighty warrior. God's choice of Gideon was surprising. Why choose the least? Because God wanted to show his strength through human weakness, proving that his power is made perfect in frailty. When the time for battle came, Gideon gathered thousands of men, a formidable army ready to fight. But God had a surprising instruction. Too many. If you win, you'll think the victory was yours. God's command was puzzling. How could fewer men mean a greater victory? But Gideon trusted God's wisdom. He knew that sometimes divine strategies defy human logic. This story isn't just ancient history. It's about faith, courage, and trusting in a higher power. It's about realizing that even in our weakness, there's potential for greatness. Gideon was puzzled but obeyed. He reduced the number of men in his army. He knew the strength of the Midianites and questioned how fewer men could win. God guided Gideon further, saying, "Still too many." Gideon was instructed to bring the men to a stream to drink water. The way they drank would determine who stayed. The men who lapped water like dogs were chosen. Only 300 remained. Gideon faced a massive army with a mere 300 men, yet he trusted God's plan. Night fell, and Gideon prepared for battle. He divided the 300 men into 3 groups. Each man held a trumpet and an empty jar with a torch inside. As midnight approached, Gideon led his men to surround the Midianite camp. At his signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed the jars, and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!" The Midianites woke in panic and confusion. Seeing the torches and hearing the noise, they believed they were under a great attack. They fled, turning on each other in the chaos. Gideon's small force triumphed without a fight. The victory was undeniably God's doing. Israel was freed from oppression, and Gideon's faith was strengthened. Gideon was confused but trusted God's wisdom. He reduced his army to just 300 men, relying on faith rather than numbers. It was a bold and risky move. With only 300 men, Gideon prepared for battle. Their weapons were simple: trumpets, jars, and torches. God's plan seemed unconventional, yet Gideon obeyed. Under the cover of night, Gideon's men surrounded the Midianite camp. At his signal, they blew their trumpets, smashed jars, and raised torches, causing chaos. The Midianites, gripped by fear and confusion, turned on each other. Gideon's small army watched as God delivered victory through unexpected means. This miraculous victory was a testament to God's power and faithfulness. Gideon's trust and obedience led to triumph, showing that strength comes from faith. Gideon's story reminds us that no matter how weak or outnumbered we feel, trusting in a higher power can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Faith moves mountains. So, when faced with impossible odds, remember Gideon. Trust in the journey and have faith in the outcome. Share this story to inspire others. Believe in miracles.